Just what has happened at Swansea. We're going to get all the debrief from Swans fan Richard. We're going to talk about was Duff right to be sacked, and we're going to talk about all the potential managers being lined up for the Swans. And did it make any difference this weekend as they travelled to Rotherham? Good evening, Richard. How are you?
Good evening. Yeah, very good. Nice victory on the weekend. Makes a change to come in with a smile. It's been a while.
All right, let's talk about Duff, then let's talk about Rotherham, then let's talk about new managers, and then we'll talk about Middlesbrough in that order. Um, okay, you called it a couple of weeks ago that the fans were starting on the terraces to become divided on Duff. And then even last week we were talking about the potential that he was going to potentially go. And then within hours of us recording our chat last week, he went. Was it a fair decision?
Well, it was slightly surprising. I was saying I thought he would have been given the games against Rotherham and Stoke to try and get himself out of a rut, but clearly there was other factors going on, and the players were given the day off on Monday. Duff came in; he's been shown the door. So the long term future of the club, I think, was at risk. I think of they don't want to go down this year, and we were at risk of dropping into those places. Other teams are picking up points. We were on a bad run. It was one win in nine. So big game against Rotherham. A bit of a risk, They've done that. They brought in Alan Sheehan, one of the coaches, to lead the team, and from what has been said since, it sounds like the team have been really together as a unit, and they worked hard to get the result.
Hmm. Just go back to Duff then a second, because brought in from Barnsley this season, didn't obviously come with a championship pedigree, if you like. So it was always a risk. But those games where you put a run together, was it four on the spot, four on the bounce, wasn't it? Which we've held it on here. Fans were starting to warm to him. What's happened since that period? Because you've had injuries, that's fine. So are there some fans that are saying you should have had more time? At least give him another transfer window to see what he can do.
Well, I think half the issue is with Duff was he never really understood what is the Swansea way, the kind of passing football, exciting football that is expected at the club, the understanding of the fans that, some of the comments he said, the one that everyone brings up really is the Cardiff comment where he said after the Bristol City game that, he'd rather lose both the Cardiff games as long as they challenge for promotion. And it's one of those things that you just don't say things like that to Swans fans. Some people get up in the mornings and all they want to do is they want to beat Cardiff. If you're a Swansea City fan, you want to get through that season. We've Russell Martin's done those two doubles in a row, and it's been incredible. It's always going to be a hard task to follow, Russ, but he's made these really catastrophic errors in judgment with not warming to the fans, and I think that's come across with some of the home performances we've had this season, where perhaps we haven't got those results because perhaps not everybody's buying into the way he's going for it. Yes, we had that run, that 4 game winning run, but you got to remember some of the teams we won in that 4 game run are teams towards the bottom. You got, I think, there's Plymouth in there, there was Millwall in there, there was Sheffield Wednesday. So, it's against the bigger teams. Yes, we've been competitive, but we've lost all of them pretty much. We've lost to Ipswich, lost to Leeds, lost to Leicester. So judging on his results, they haven't been good enough. In previous seasons, we would have gone and got those results. We would have challenged, and we would have nicked a point somewhere. It just didn't all add up, I think, in the end. And I was giving him a good chance, and I would have given him those 2 games to see if he could have changed it round. But long term, it just wasn't a good fit.
Okay. All right, let's have a look then at the latest running for Swansea manager. Okay, thank you to our friends at Skybet for this graphic. So let's go down through the list then. Chris Davis. All right, where's this come from?
Right. Well, Chris Davis is ex Swansea City coach. He was part of the club before. He's followed Brendan Rodgers. He was at the club when he was there. He's worked under Ange Postecoglou at Celtic. So he's got good merit, good quality. He's followed him to Tottenham Hotspur, assistant manager there at the moment. So good links to the club already.
Okay.
Understands the way they play. I think it's a really big factor on the next manager. Will have to really buy into the philosophy that the fans and the board are looking for. So I think he's outright favourite, So that's the one they want, I think.
Doesn't it? Isn't it a bit contradictory then? You say, we don't want to go down. We absolutely cannot go down because it would be catastrophic for the club in many, many ways. So on that list there, you're going to appoint um, the least experienced in terms of managing potential relegation dogfights on that whole list. If you're appointing a manager that you don't want to go down, surely you go to Gary Rowett first.
I think, maybe I'm being a bit naive. Maybe Swans would be a bit naive in itself by looking in a different way. But we feel that we can play football and we've got players to play football and we're underachieving.
Mm.
Yes, we might not have the depth, but I think there's still good players there. You got your Matty Grimes leading the team as captain. There's still the same players that were challenging to the majority last year for the playoffs. In the end, we lost Joe Perreault's goals, which is a massive factor, I know, and we lost player of the season Ryan Manning. Those two players in themselves, have been a big loss. But they've also brought in some good players as well. They've got to remember there's a lot of change. The likes of Josh Keogh had a fantastic game of the weekend at right back. Um, Jerry Yates, he's not quite in the league of Perot, but that's what January's for, I think, now is
Okay.
to have a look and see what you can get.
Let's have a chat about some of the other names very briefly there. Though. Nathan Jones.
Well, that'd be catastrophic, to be honest. I think, judging by it, he's an openly saying he's a Cardiff fan. He's been at the crowd a couple of times in some of the games for Stoke and Luton, so that's just not a good fit, and I don't think the football is there either. So I think that's more of a bookies.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a Cardiff fan winding you up somewhere there at the bookies, isn't it? Brian Barry Murphy, third
Okay.
favourite.
There's another one from Man City. We've seen at Leicester how well the assistants from City's done there. He's a young manager, hungry youth coach there. So again, it's inexperienced, but it's that style of play. I think you look at that.
Yeah.
For me, maybe, but I don't really know a great deal about the guy. But apparently, he's doing quite well, and he's going to have some good contacts with him.
Okay. Any others on that list that you would want to entertain, or there's lots of names there that keep coming up again and again for
Yeah,
these
well,
managerial roles?
I think Eric Ramsey's also been linked. United coach. He's also worked at the club before. He's a technical analyst at the Swans a good few years ago, so he'll know the way. Um, I got to look and see Alan Tate down the bottom. Maybe it's a supporting role, but yeah, perhaps not. But yeah, it's one of those lists where there could well be a couple of people that haven't been mentioned, perhaps from abroad, that will be kind of hush hush
Okay.
in the interview process. Now, so it'd be really interesting to see. But Alan Sheehan looks like he's going to be in charge tomorrow night, I would have thought. Now, there's been nothing really said today.
Great. Quick word on the Rotherham game then. Obviously, they went down to 10 men after 17 minutes. Stupid 2 yellows. After that, Swans took control.
Yeah, we started off, I think, Rotherham with a slightly better team at the beginning. If they are a physical unit, they do what they do good. They're very direct. But I think we dealt with that quite well. Yes, the red card, you've got to say it did change the game, but we had plenty of chances. And although the goal we got just before half time was very fortuitous, to say the least, I think, really, from the cross came in with Patino. Yeah, it was in the net. Let's just say that. And there was other chances too. So we could have gone on and got some more. Second half then really was it was one of those. I think we needed that second goal, but Rotherham started quick, and you get those. It's typical Rotherham goal in it. Long throw, flick on, header, and there's another one there with a slight debate around whether was there a foul, was there a handball on the go again there. And then we went on and scored a really good goal then with Jerry Yates, but it was bad defending from the Rotherham defender. So you need that bit of luck when you're in a fight, and I feel for Rotherham, but we need the points just as much, I'm afraid.
Yeah, absolutely did, didn't you? All right, let's look ahead to Middlesbrough then. Wait there. Okay, fascinating. This one then. The Swansea.com Stadium. Richard, how do you view how Middlesbrough have done this year?
Yeah, well, they're a good side. They started off quite poorly, but they did the same thing last year, and they've made a bit of a pursuit. And Carrick, great manager. But again, like a bit like us at times, they're a bit hard to predict. So I can see this one being, maybe he who scores first sort of does well out of the game. But it should be an entertaining match. I think both teams like to play football, got good players. So Yeah, again, it all depends. That extra day might help us as well. I think Middlesbrough playing Wednesday, we're playing Tuesday. I don't know if that'll be on the legs, but we're up in Stoke, so long trip, 2 long trips in a week, so that might
Yeah.
take a bit out too. So a few factors outside of the actual 11, but yeah, it should be a good match.
Of course, this was going to be a relegation 6-pointer, wasn't it, at the start of the season between between you two? Middlesbrough have done the better of the two more recently. Chris, you're down to the bare bones though in terms of players, aren't you? How do you see this one going?
Oh yeah, we're absolutely riddled with injuries at the moment, Mark, which is um, not very exciting to see. We've got some key players who've been out for a while. Riley McGree's been out for some time as well, and everyone knows that he's my absolute star boy. Marcus Forss, don't have a clue where he is. O'Brien's back in January, so it's yeah, we are through that to the bones. But I think well, I've got a quick funny story about Lewis O'Brien. So at Leeds away, I was right next to the Leeds fans, and then when I last scored, we were all giving it to the Leeds fans, and all of a sudden Lewis O'Brien just lifts his hat up, and we're like, "Oh my God, I've been giving crap to Lewis O'Brien." So he must have been in like the family area, but that was really funny to see. But yeah, we actually are riddled with injuries, and you could clearly see that on Saturday against Ipswich. Um, it's worrying times, but I think we just need an update when the key players are coming back because it's not the strongest side we're putting out at the moment. And I know we're only 3 points off playoffs, but this league is so unpredictable, and we're a side that should be up there. So yeah, I mean Saturday will be a great test as well.
Yeah. All right, let's get some score predictions. Thank you, Chris. Richard, you go first. Swansea Middlesbrough.
Right, well, two sides. I'm going to say really Swans very poor home form. Only won 2 in 10. Middlesbrough not so good away. What was the stat I got on them? 3 in 14. Is it wins away from home? So it's got to be a draw, isn't it? So I think 1-1.
1-1. Great. Thanks, Rich. Chris.
Oh, I'm gonna go with 2-1 for a win. I think that's just the hope of me coming out. But I think after the game against Ipswich, we'll get a bit of form back on Wednesday. I think their key players might be real up fringe as well. So if we can pick up some points on Wednesday, that'll give us momentum to Saturday. So I'm gonna go with a Borough 2-1 win. If we do lose, that's a 4-hour train, 4.5 hour train back for me, back to Manchester. So I'm just banking on a win. Otherwise, I won't be able to go up with that train back. I'll tell you what, though, Swansea fans are class. Swansea fans are absolutely brilliant. I mean, last time I was there, we won. On the way back, I was like me on my own because I live in Manchester. I was swarming by about 10 Swansea fans, and it was an absolute party. It was mint. So no love, no love, no no harsh feelings towards Swansea fans. We're a lovely lot.
Good. Right. Thank you both. Enjoy the game. We'll catch up with you both next week. Cheers, fellas.
Cheers, Mark. Cheers.
Cheers,
Nice to
Mark.
meet you, Chris.